With it being this time of year again for the Rainbow Laces campaign, we wanted to include the fans in this year's coverage, as you guys are the heartbeat of the club. Jamie Howells is a massive Robins fan and also an LGBTQ+ fan who has many stories and experiences to share with us. And Rainbow Laces is all about giving people like Jamie the chance to share their stories.
So I'm joined with Robins superfan Jamie Howells. Jamie, thank you for joining me today. How are you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the return of fans for football now. That's great news, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, really good news. Really good news.
So my first question obviously links to the return of fans. How much are you missing just being able to watch live football from the stadiums?
Massively. Really. I mean, it's my life. I mean, you go to work, in the week, and then you just look forward to going to the football and seeing your friends on Saturday. It's not just seeing live football, is seeing your friends as well that you have at the football. So yeah, I'm really glad that hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can go back.
Yeah, obviously the club are planning to allow some fans to come back for the Exeter game, so hopefully that will go well, and hopefully after that we can get more fans in. That's the sort of plan. So going back to the start now, how did your love for Cheltenham come about?
It was my granddad, actually. He's been a fan all of his life, so he took me to games as soon as he physically could, and I've just been going all my life, really. So yeah, it's my granddad's fault for the drugs. So.
Yeah, and is there a game that you could be like, that's my favourite ever game I've been to? Home or away? Can be away.
I mean, it's either the 6-5 when we beat Burton Albion when we were like 5-3 down with like 5 minutes to go, something ridiculous like that, or probably the Dover win in the conference when we won telly and we come back to win that. And I think that was the game where I think we all realised that we were going to do it and we were going to go up that season. I think that was probably my favourite game.
Yeah, and what's a similar question? What's your worst ever memory supporting Cheltenham?
Probably when we got relegated to the conference back in 2015, I think it was. We were home to Shrewsbury, and I think we lost that one, and yeah, we got relegated. That was a sad day. There was a lot of tears shed on that day.
Yeah. So not the playoff defeat last season.
Not because we weren't there. Like obviously it was sad and disappointing that we didn't get promoted. But I think not being there, it just sort of didn't have that. I don't know. It just sort of did. I mean, obviously we lost in the playoff final back in 2012 at Wembley, and that hurt. But I think because we weren't there, I just don't think it just didn't quite have that same sort of. You were upset, but you sort of, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. So going into a bit more of a deeper subject. So according to 7 in 10 football fans who've attended a match have heard or witnessed homophobia on the terraces. Have you ever been subject to homophobic abuse? And if so, would you be able to explain the story and how it made you feel that day?
Yeah, I have. It was a few years ago at Swindon away. I didn't actually, because it was quite a packed away end, so it was really sort of noisy and boisterous. I didn't actually witness it myself until I got home. And there were videos going around on social media, and heard that it was sort of aimed and directed at me. It wasn't nice at all.
No, it's disgraceful behaviour from that occasion.
Yeah.
How did fans know about, like, how did they know to direct it at you? Do many fans know about like your sexuality?
Yeah. So when I came out over, so I sort of came out on social media, so I posted it on my social media platforms, so they were aware sort of my sexuality. They were aware of it at the time.
And was it just like the occasion? Obviously you didn't know at the time, and obviously you saw it on social media, but was it provoked by anything, or did it just happen?
It just happened. It wasn't provoked by anything. As well, that's the only time that I've actually had it. So to me, I don't think it was Cheltenham fans. We sort of for the big games, there were sort of fans that used to turn up to games that I don't think are Cheltenham fans. They just sort of went just to sort of like, because it was a local derby, so just went just to like cause trouble. That's the only time I've had it. Thankfully, touch wood. I don't think they were proper.
But looking forward to the future, what would your message be to those fans who are watching this in terms of how did that affect you at the time? Like, did it take a big toll on you?
It did. I was really upset. I sort of went in my, obviously it took a lot to come out. and I felt really sort of proud of myself.
Exactly, and you're united you're united with all fans because you support the club, and like no factors like sexuality should make you a victim to this sort of horrible abuse.
Exactly.
Right.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all.
So at the time, how helpful were the club in terms of following up on the incident?
So when I got home and saw the post regarding it, obviously I was quite upset. I posted on social media, sort of saying about it and how sort of upset I was. Murray Toms, he phoned me straight away, and was really like, this is unacceptable. And he obviously the club were going to work with the police, and they were going to get Swindon Football Club involved as well to try and sort of to get it involved. He was really good, to be fair. He phoned me pretty much straight away, and it was really he was really good to me that day.
And did they resolve it in the end? Did they find who the fans were?
No, I think it was hard because obviously I physically didn't obviously witness it myself until I got home. It was only obviously what was posted on social media. It was quite difficult. There was a lot of us there that day. Normally, a normal Cheltenham away game, there's not many of us, but that day there was a load of us, so it was quite difficult. No, it didn't get resolved. But as I say, touch wood, since then, I've not had anything at all. So I think it was probably although a really horrible experience, I think it was just a one-off.
No, it's good that Murray Tom's got in contact with you. It shows the zero tolerance approach we have at this club.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm really proud of this club for having that zero tolerance approach. Because some clubs can say they have it, but it's about acting upon it when it happens in real life.
There is not one bad egg at that football club that works for Cheltenham Town. They're all amazing. From the chairman right down to the staff that work on match days. We're a fantastic club, and they dealt with it brilliantly. I was really.
That's so good to hear. They've also accepted me really well, and it's a lovely diverse club in terms of who's involved. I think the club deserve great credit for that. So obviously it's Rainbow Laces Month, which is amazing. What does Rainbow Laces personally mean to you?
Just as I say, just that it just sort of raises the awareness that it doesn't matter whether you're straight, gay, bisexual, whatever, pansexual, whatever, that you can go to football and feel that you're part of the same, because we're all the same, it doesn't matter, what our sexuality is, we're all the same. And it just highlights the fact that everybody can go to football and feel inclusive, feel that we're part of it. And as I say, the club's fantastic. I feel a massive part of it, and it's good that, similar to obviously with racial discrimination as well. Obviously, they have that part of it as well. It's just good that everyone can feel that they're part of the football club and part of football itself.
Yeah, and obviously one of the purposes of this call was to share your story, because I think for me, Rainbow Laces is all about sharing stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It's the more experience is shared, I think, is the better that, and it just proves more awareness and gives, the EFL and clubs, that opportunity to sort of get better at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So moving on to a bit more of a topical sort of standpoint. Obviously, Cheltenham have an official affiliated LGBTQ plus fan group. We've seen Southend United set up one recently. And our opponents for this weekend's Rainbow Laces game, Exeter City, have their own one, Proud Grecians. So if Cheltenham did create one in the future, how would that change your experience as a LGBTQ plus football fan?
It would massively, because you've got people that obviously share the same sort of experiences as you, and you can go to them, and if you've got any problems, you can sort of go to them with that. I think it is a really good idea, and it just proves that if you've got any issues or any problems, you can go to them, and obviously then they can then go to the to the club hierarchy. And I think it would be a really good and positive idea.
Yeah, and do you think the reason there isn't one at the moment is because no one's had the courage to set one up, or is there more to it? Do you think that Cheltenham just don't have that sort of population of LGBTQ fans to be able to set one up? What do you think?
Yeah, bit of both, really. I think obviously the club it probably is a sort of a bit of the unknown. They don't sort of know what to do. But also as well, Cheltenham's fan base are quite of the older generation. We don't really have that many, like you said, we don't really have that many LGBTQ plus sort of fans. So I think it's just a case of where they felt that there's not that many of us to set one up. So it's a bit of both. Our supporters are quite sort of elderly, sort of male, sort of dominated, and I don't think there are many of us. So I think that's why the club haven't sort of set one up, which is through no fault of their own. It's just the way that it is, the way that it's happened.
Well, hopefully that can change in the future, 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, but I think times are changing more now, where it's becoming more sort of like football is progressing. It's not progressing as much as what it should do with the current times, but it is sort of getting there. And as you say, more football clubs now are creating them, and I think the more clubs that create them, other clubs like Cheltenham might then start to get on to progress and to set one up.
Also, I think it's important to remember that LGBTQ plus inclusive fan groups don't just consist of LGBT fans. Like,
no, of course they don't. No.
Heterosexual people can get involved.
Of course they can, absolutely. Yeah, they can. It's all about making everybody feel inclusive, and absolutely heterosexual. Everyone can get involved in that.
So quickly going back to the campaigns to make football more of an inclusive place for LGBTQ people. We obviously look at Stonewall's Rainbow Laces, and also the likes of Football versus Homophobia in terms of the work they do to make football more of an inclusive environment in the future. What do you think? How do you think these campaigns can evolve in terms of making progress really to the goal of making football more of an inclusive place for everyone?
I think just sort of keep persevering. Obviously, the racism part of it, that's really progressing, and you were seeing a lot of that now with sort of Black Lives Matter and all that, and they're sort of progressing a lot with that. And I think if more focus is put on that and more things are developed from it, then I think it will. It's just a case of not more effort being put into it. That's probably the wrong word, but just continuing at it and just sort of putting more at it, sort of thing.
Maybe developing new ideas in the future that can evolve things further.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because people might not know that they exist, or it's just a case of, just like you say, more ideas, getting more people involved.
Yeah. So moving on a bit again. So obviously no footballer has come out since the late Justin Fashanu in the 90s. What role do you think fans and the media have in terms of creating a safer environment for a player to feel comfortable to be able to come out in?
As I said, I think that there is, a massive reason that why footballers aren't coming out, because they're probably scared of that. They're scared to come out and the abuse that they will get from fans. I think fans and the media, they all just need to think that, oh, he's come out as gay. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be made as a big thing. It's just, it's just literally, he's come out as gay. Well done, fair play to him. But they shouldn't make it as a big drama. And again, the fan side of it shouldn't be to the point where they are really sort of like abusive towards it. Which I think that's why no one has come out, because they're scared of the abuse that they will get from not only necessarily opposition fans, but their own fans as well. Because it's, as I say, it's just not. You've got people that have come out in other sports, but why haven't they come out in football? But that, I think, is down to the fans and the media. I think they need to sort of be more understanding of what it's like to come out as gay, and the big pressure that it is to come out, and realize that they're doing it because they need to, and it shouldn't make a difference what their sexuality is when they're on that. All footballers are this. All footballers, if it are all the same. So I don't understand why coming out should make a difference.
And obviously, you mentioned the fans and the media. Which one of the two do you think takes more responsibility in terms of needing to change more, in your opinion?
Probably the media, I would say, because the media are really, the media would, if especially in the Premier League, if a player did come out, it would be massive news, and they would continue to, once he came out or they came out, they would continue to talk about it. Whereas as I say, it's not really that big thing issue. Obviously, fans, obviously, they have their part to play as well. But I think it's the media. I think the media need to realise that it's not that a big, it's not that big a deal, and it shouldn't really be news, and they shouldn't continue to post stories about it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I feel like the media sort of fuel the fans' opinions and fuel that sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at what's happened with, obviously it's not LGBTQ related, but obviously Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood, like the recent debacle going on there, like it causes a lot of toxicity within different fan bases. So the media do need to evolve their coverage, and I think a way of doing that is maybe hopefully encouraging forward the future next generation of LGBTQ plus journalists like myself. Needs to get more people in the industry who understand the experiences that footballer in the future will go through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The more people that are sort of involved that have experienced it, I think the better it'll be for football as a sport, I think.
Yeah, and obviously looking further abroad at different countries, the likes of like Robbie Rogers and current San Diego Loyal player Colin Martin have come out in the US. Why do you think fan culture in this country is so far behind the USA?
Maybe because football's not as popular. Soccer isn't as popular out there. Obviously, football is the main sport in this country. Obviously, it's it's on the back pages, obviously, of the newspapers every day. I think maybe because soccer out in America isn't as popular, so maybe it's not as. And I think as well, I think the media is probably totally different out there to what it is sort of back here. I think obviously, as I say, if a footballer came out in this country, it would be a massive deal. Whereas in America, it wouldn't be as much what it would be in this country.
And there's role models already in America, like Megan Rapinoe and like football players, soccer players out there, as they refer to, who obviously have taken the limelight away from players to come out in America. But obviously, we haven't had one player come out in the top 4 flights of English football since Justin Fashanu. So obviously, when the next player does come out, obviously we need to see how the media reacts.
I think as well, when the next player does come out, you probably will see quite a few more come out, but I think they're all scared to be the first person and to make the first move. I think once someone is brave enough to do that, then I think we might see more of them do it. But as I say, it's just a case of being scared of the media and obviously then the fans who will hurl abuse at them every Saturday. So
yeah, no, I agree completely. So back to Cheltenham now. What do you make of the job that Michael Duff has done so far at the club?
Amazing. I mean, I think if COVID hadn't have happened and we'd have carried on playing, we would be in League One. We would have gone up automatically. There's no doubt about that. What he's done to the players. I mean, the job he's done is just fantastic. It's just absolutely amazing. He's destined for the top. There's no doubt about that. I think when he does eventually leave us, it will be for a lot higher. And he will be one of the top managers in this country. It's just, I mean, they were a decent bunch of players before Duff came in, but the way he's got them playing football is just, it is an absolute joy to watch. And yeah, we are so lucky to have him as our manager.
It's great as well. So in the tighter games, the ability, I think he's instilled that mentality of grinding out the results, and that's been a big factor in the good form for the last few seasons.
I mean, Saturday was a prime example. Like obviously Crewe equalised and sort of going into extra time, but they still just kept at it, and they're just so much more fitter, and they can just, like you say, it's just like you say, the tight games. Whereas a few years ago we would have lost them, we're grinding out results now, and we are doing. Yeah, it's just amazing. He's just such a brilliant manager.
And obviously, it's great that Cheltenham did progress to the third round of the FA Cup. What did you make of the game to start off with, and then who's your ideal opponent? Who do you want to see the Robins face in the next round?
I mean, it was a really tough game. I mean, Crewe are a really good football inside. Obviously, we know from last season. Obviously, they got promoted from League Two, but we're quite similar in the way that we both like to play football. And I think it actually was a really, really good game of football. I think we did deserve to win. It was just the fact that we managed to, hold out and just put our bodies on the line was brilliant. In terms of who we want in the next round, it's a difficult one, because you'd like a Premiership team, but then because of the current situation and obviously finances are really tight, do we want a League Two side or even lower at home, just so we can progress to the fourth round? It's money which the club needs. It's a difficult one. I think probably somebody sort of League Two at home, I think, just so we can sort of progress and just get the money that we as a club need.
Yeah, and say if we were fortunate enough to get like a Premier League club or Championship club, would you prefer the tie to be away from home, obviously at the bigger stadium, or at Wharton Road?
At Wharton Road, because then we would be able to go, and obviously we would be able to go if it was an away game. So yeah, at home definitely, and then hopefully if it would be at home, then there's more chance of it being on the telly, which again would be more money for the club.
And obviously, hopefully, we'll have some fans in as well. If it's a home tie, we can have a few fans in to help spear the team on in terms of really getting them up for it.
Exactly, yeah, because there have been times this season where I think the Morecambe home game, the first game of the season where we lost it, I think if fans were in that stadium, I don't think we'd have lost it. There have been times this season where they've needed us, and that. So, yeah, hopefully we can get back in again, just to get back in to normal life.
Yeah, and obviously talking about the players, who is your favourite player or players from this current crop that Michael Duff is managing?
I mean, there's the squad that he's got is just fantastic. I mean, you could name the majority of the 11. I mean, you've got Chris Essie. He's a fantastic fullback. We're lucky to have him. Circum. I mean, I'm really jealous that we actually haven't been able to watch him live yet.
To this Saturday's Rainbow Laces match against Exeter City, who are doing really well as well in the league. What are your thoughts on the match, and what's your score prediction for the game?
I mean, Exeter are a good side. Our form is really good, as is theirs. I think it will be a tight game. I'd like to think that we would just nudge there. I'll probably go 2-1.
2-1, yeah. Hoping for a tight win. Hopefully, big win.
Yeah. Oh, massive! I mean, we've got a lot of tough games coming out, and Exeter is one of them. They're a really good side. So, yeah, hopefully we can.
And just to finish off with, what are your predictions for the rest of the season? How do you think the season will fare out in the end for Cheltenham?
It's difficult. I mean, obviously we're second in the league, but I still don't think we've hit our peak yet. There are times where we've beaten teams and we've not even got into second gear. I don't think it's as strong as it was last season in terms of opposition sides. I think if we really do, if we can hit our peak and we can be consistent, then there's no reason why we can't get in that top 3 and get promoted. So I'm actually quietly confident for this season.
And hopefully we get promoted and Forest Green don't.
Yes, exactly that, yeah.
No, thank you so much for joining me today, Jamie. That was amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
Take care, and hopefully you recover well as well soon.
Lovely. Thank you. Cheers, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. See you soon.
As you've just heard in that discussion with Jamie Howells, he is a massive Cheltenham fan, and we are delighted to have him here. Here at Cheltenham, we take a zero-tolerance approach towards all forms of discrimination and prejudice, but in this case, it was homophobia. We are #Cheltenham United in the battle against all forms of discrimination. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of the content to be released ahead of this weekend's Rainbow Laces match against Exeter City.